Dropping Backyard Paradise online at landisbc.com. From ESPN, the great Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew, John, and Philadelphia.
Shefty, I'm excited to talk football with you. Today's show has been talking football with the people.
But there's a but coming.
Because we haven't gotten a chance to talk to you all week yet, let's start with the head coach and what transpired on Sunday and what transpired on Monday. Would love to know what are people around the NFL saying about Nick Sirianni, Adam?
Well, it's the kind of thing you just can't do. And, I've said this, and it's not hard to grasp, but basically the way to look at it is this. Fans are customers. They're your customers. Will you have customers walk into a restaurant, and will you, as the manager or owner of the restaurant, go back and start jawing at them? You don't like the food? Get out of here. Get out of here. Like, you don't do that.
No.
You just don't do that to the fans. I don't care what the fans say, how angry they are. I don't care how explicit they get. You know what you do? You say, hey, Big Dom, can you go over to Section 103 and tell those fans to shut the hell up?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, it was interesting. He ran away from Big Dom. Big Dom didn't even realize that he was running over to the sideline.
Big Dom's asleep at the wheel, worried about his own photo shoot going on. He's there for one reason, and he loses track of the one guy that he's on the sideline to take care of. You know what he needs? He needs one of those Disney kid leashes.
Right.
For Nick Sirianni.
He can't get away.
Yeah, but look, here's the problem, Adam, is we spent another week in Philadelphia not talking about the issues of this football team and where they can get better, where they've been worse. We're talking about the head coach.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, should be talking about the team and how internally they know that they can play better, that they have good players who want to win, that they know they have an opportunity out in front of them. They know these things, right? And that should be the focus. And instead, we're still cleaning up a little mess left in aisle 3 that's just about cleaned up. But before we clean it up, and get on to the next game, you just got to finish cleaning it up. And that's what your city's doing right now.
Now, speaking of internally, Shefty, have you heard internally how anybody in Philadelphia may have reacted to Nick Sirianni's antics? Because let's face it, he was very chesty after the win, and then when he had his Monday press conference, he looked like he was doing a show after his dog died. So were there players that may have felt a certain type of way? Was there an owner that may have felt a certain type of way about how Sirianni acted on Sunday?
I don't know who said what, right? But it's an organization. And I don't care whether it's the owner or the GM or the VP of public relations, whoever it is. So somebody's got to say that's not the way to behave to the fans. It's just not. I mean, and I'd like to think, and maybe it happened, that even he, upon reflection, thought about it, because you can't be oblivious to all the noise around you, and was like, shouldn't have done that. God damn, shouldn't have done. Like, we all do things in life like that. Like, I've done things where a few minutes after, my gosh, shouldn't have done that, right? And so maybe it came from within, or maybe they had a conversation on Monday. I don't know how that came out, but whatever it is, whether it's the people around him or the internal voice talking to him, whoever it was recognized that that's not how you treat the customers. Sorry. Like, the customers can speak out all they want. They can be unsatisfied and unhappy with the performance and the product. Don't like it. But even Nick Sirianni said, like, we love it when the fans support us. We love that. But it's not great when they boo us. Well, that's the job. That's what you sign up for.
Yeah, he didn't just say that he didn't like it. He said it was counterproductive.
Well, I mean, I guess the city of Philadelphia is counterproductive as an existence. I mean, like, at its existence, right? Like, that's been going on through time.
Right.
Right? I mean,
Shefty, we have
that's how it is.
We have Saquon going to the place where he rented because it's home. He's home now. He's with us.
Yeah.
But you know how important this game must mean to him on Sunday to go back and show the Giants they made a mistake. How did the Eagles not make it so obvious that maybe they want to make this the Saquon game?
Well, the Eagles don't have to do anything. This always was going to be a Saquon game. There's a reason that we have our very own Sal Paolantonio sit down to get an exclusive with Saquon ahead of the game when it comes to playing the Giants. Saquon tells Sal it's all about business. Sal didn't even have to get a text from Saquon. He went right to the source himself to sit down to hear how this matchup was going to go. And look, from the moment we saw the Giants featured on the off-season Hard Knocks talking about Saquon, the first matchup of these teams, anybody could say whatever they want. It was always going to be about Saquon, and it will be about Saquon. And Nick Sirianni thanks Saquon and the Eagles and the schedule maker for that.
Schefter, I'm curious. I'm looking at the rushing leaders right now in the NFL, and then Saquon Barkley's in the top 5. He's got the 4th most rushing yards in the NFL, and of course, part of that is because of how great he was early on. But it's amazing. He's already had his bye week. Your leading rushers are Derrick Henry, Jordan Mason, Chuba Hubbard, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. 4 of those 5 backs I would consider power backs, even though Saquon Barkley can do a million other things. Are we seeing a shift in the tide in the NFL a little bit where teams go, you know what? You can get all the small, fast linebackers you want. You can get all the small, fast cornerbacks you want. I'm going to go back to old school and get a big, beefy running back who can run you over. Is that something that offenses are starting to focus on?
Well, I think it is a copycat league, right? And I think we can see how this all works. But if you go back and look, like, again, you mentioned those names, the leading rushers with Jordan Mason and Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, those are running backs who signed with new teams in the offseason, with the exception of Jordan Mason and Chuba Hubbard. So I think people will see this. And, there were running back values out there. That was the thing, that some of these teams looked at these guys, and whereas you have to spend $25+ million in a wide receiver, you can go spend $7, $8, $10 million on a running back. In Saquon's case, whatever it was, 13. But it's still half the price of a wide receiver. Half. So if a running back can bring you value like that, why not, right? I'm sure more and more people will do that.
I spent the whole summer studying Kellen Moore and telling this city how exciting it was going to be that Kellen Moore had all these toys to play with, and Saquon Barkley being a big part of it, maybe the straw that could help stir that drink. This doesn't look like the Kellen Moore offense that I've seen of his 5 years in the NFL calling plays. Any theory as to why that is? Because some are speculating that it's the head coach meddling, and some are speculating that it's the quarterback himself that's not being able to really grasp what Kellen wants to do.
I don't know why that is, and why it's not functioned at a high level the way that it should. I think the first thing I think of is, A.J. Brown's played 2 games. Devontae Smith missed time. Like, each of the receivers missed time when you're not having all the guys. I'm going to guess Dallas Goedert doesn't play this week with a hamstring injury. When you're missing guys, it's hard to run the offense. But I don't know whether the head coach has gotten involved, whether the quarterback has struggled to execute. I don't know what it is. They've got to get better across the board and up their performance. I don't have a conspiracy theory for you on this offense. Maybe it's just taking time for everybody to learn it, too. Like, you don't come in. I think we did say all along that it was going to take some time for them to pick up this offense and operate it at its highest peak level. That wasn't going to happen right away with a new offensive coordinator. So sometimes that takes time, and maybe this offense can grow into that with everybody getting back and getting healthier.
How much credit does Vic Fangio deserve to have this defense playing right now middle of a pack? They were 30th last year, 14th so far this season. But how much credit does he get as the defensive coordinator with a very young defense playing at the level that they are?
Well, we look, you knew that Vic was going to be good. Like, Vic Pick's an all-time coordinator.
Yeah.
Guy's tremendous at what he does. So that was never going to be an issue. But they have some deficiencies and weaknesses that they're trying to work around. And so that's not going to have, like, and I've heard, like, even on Monday, I'm doing NFL Live from MetLife Stadium, and people say, oh, the Lions should trade for Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. I've heard people say the Eagles should trade for Myles. The Browns aren't trading Myles Garrett. Like, let's stop living in this fancy football delusional world. Like, that's not happening. Do you think teams are in the business of trading away elite, Hall of Fame players? Come on. That's not happening.
I'm wondering about the fact that the Eagles got a little sent to the kiddie table yesterday. The Commanders get flexed into a primetime slot on CBS while the Birds get demoted. Is there a true changing of the guard potentially happening in the NFC East?
John, all that is all that we talked about in the offseason. Mm-hmm. I'll say to you again, how many times did I say to you, the big problem is if Jaden Daniels is what people think he can be.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I said it to you a half dozen times.
All the time.
Minimum.
You did.
Minimum. And so this is a reflection of that. That's all it is. It is the Jaden Daniels flex.
I'm just hoping Dan Quinn gets out to a big lead in the division, and then we know what happens with those.
It's the Jaden Daniels flex. They're playing the Bears that day.
Yes.
Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams flex. It's the rookie quarterbacks 1-2 flex.
Yeah, but it's Burrow and Hurts that are sent to the kiddie table.
Right, exactly.
I mean, how far has that dropped in just 2 years?
Well, you know what? That's still an attractive matchup. Don't get me wrong, but the other one, the rookie quarterbacks, that's like a sexy matchup. It's got like a little bit of sex appeal going. It just does, like that. Those guys, they're the shiny new toys, and everybody wants to go play with them. That's all that is, and the NFL is no different. So much so that they're flexing them to the better time slot.
Schefter, last thing before we let you go, we appreciate your time as always. We've been talking about statement wins, it seems like, every single week, and when is that going to come for the Eagles? And it clearly didn't happen against Cleveland, where they win by 4. You're going up against a division rival. I know those games are always tough, but it's the return of Saquon Barkley. At what point does a locker room start looking around and going, yeah, we're winning, but?
I don't think they think like that. I think that they know that they've got a job here, that they have to go win here. Look, it was a crappy win on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
It was not exactly a reason for celebration.
Especially from the head coach.
But they won. So, so we move on. And now you try to see if they can play better this week and win again. Where's the game? It's in New York, this game?
Yeah, it is. Well, New Jersey.
Yeah, so, New Jersey. Yeah, right.
East Rutherford.
It's a road. I was there Monday night, by the way, and it was
that's a
freezing
thrill.
in that stadium. It was freezing in that. It was windy and cold, and I could not believe for whatever night that was, October 9th or whatever it was. It was really cold. But it's a road game. It's a road division game. I don't care how. I'm not looking for pretty points and style points here. Like, all you want to do is win 17-16 and move on. Stack them up and go on.
Don't say that to me, Schefter.
There you go.
I'm looking for a little bit more than 17-16 out of this high-powered offense.
Well, I'm looking for a little more than 6 points from Saquon Barkley this week on my fantasy team.
Oh, wait a minute here. Selfish Shefty's the best Shefty.
Well, then you must be excited for this matchup.
Yeah. John Mort would always say, salty Shefty is
yes.
the best Shefty.
Well, you had
salty.
hey, Mort could be salty in his own right, as you well know. God rest his soul.
Yeah. Where do you think I got my saltiness from, Mort?
I got a few of those texts over the years. Believe me,
Schefter, you're the man. We appreciate it so much, and we can't wait to talk to you again next week.